What is up, guys? Thank you for watching The Punisher One Last Kill. That was amazing, man. Let me tell you, it was the most gory, violent, destroying things I've ever seen out of a Marvel series, man. I mean, there was blood all over it. This is my review. We start off with, The Punisher, who has like PTSD of the army, where he's seeing like ghosts of ancient generals and, soldiers, and they all like kind of screaming at him and he's going nuts. I guess, this is the typical type of things that sometimes soldiers, when they come home, they get to experience. They see things because of the war. They're not the same. They're taking medication. In his case, Frank Castle, he's taking alcohol. He's taking a lot of liquor. He's hurting himself, almost to the point where he wants to kill himself, almost suicide. And he's, he goes visit his daughter Tombstone, and he's about to blow his head off in a very, very intense scene. And he sees the ghost of his daughter, and he kind of stops and decides to live. I mean, it's things like that that makes the Punisher so great. These intense moments, these hopelessness moments, these moments in which you feel for the guy. He's lost, and you just kind of feel for him. Now, this story is basically just, the neighborhood's going bad, crime is rising up. There's a lady that's after Frank Castle, in which she shows up and she tells him that, hey, buddy, you killed my whole family, including my favorite son, my little son that I love so much, and you murder him. Now I'm going to get back at you, It's just what she's telling him, And, we see footage of him killing the son and everything, and he goes back home and like the whole neighborhood is in chaos. Like, what the hell is going on? The cops is trying to stop the crimes, but they get their car burned down, I mean, this is, I lived in New York City, and I can tell you, in New York City, it's not like that. It is bad. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like what they're showing on TV, where people are running around like beating up people and stabbing and, burning cars and all that stuff. Nothing that extreme. I mean, this is marvelized, just so you know. But, the whole neighborhood's going nuts. Homeless people are getting beat up, and this homeless guy gets his dog killed by these random anarchy type of guys that, they are just creating chaos on the streets, and Frank is lost. Frank doesn't want to fight. He's contemplating whether he wants to live or die, and it's like struggling because he sees ghosts from his past, including you may have known Karen from Daredevil makes an appearances, which we thought she would, but only as a ghost, only as Frank Castle's mind. And she tells him that he fucked up, and then she just kind of holds him and trying to comfort him, but we knew she was going to make an appearance in there. There's no surprise there. It was good to see that, but at the same time, it's kind of like, yo, that's the Daredevil's girl, man. But pretty interesting thing. He sees ghosts, and the next thing his neighbor is getting his door broken into, and there's like almost type of like Nazis type of guys going there and trying to commit crimes, and they are trying to burn down Frank's Castle's door with fire, and next thing you know, the fire gets into his clothes, and it makes it like a really, really cool visual, because he had fire on his pants and he broke down the door and jumped right at them. Like, he decided to be, the Punisher again. And he goes on a killing rampage. And I'm talking about like the most violent Kill Bill rampage you probably ever seen, like a Disney Plus channel, which is surprising, because it's Disney. But they went rated super R. I mean, I'm talking about worse than Deadpool. There was blood everywhere. There was a scene in like a coffee shop where he's fighting this big old dude, and he takes a pin and just like stabbed that dude, and just stabbed him in the eyes and the throat, and it was pretty gory, man. This is a gory one shot Punisher, and basically at the end, he comes back as the Punisher. He finds himself again, and he fights crimes. He's fighting all these these guys that are committing crimes and chaos, and he comes back with a uniform, which concludes that he is going to, he's becoming the Punisher. He is the Punisher, and he's just, stopping all the crimes on the street, and people are getting scared of him now. And that is pretty much the end of the one-shot series here. It's too bad that we did not get to see Spider-Man. I would really love to see a cameo from Tom Holland Spider-Man, that would have been great to set up Spider-Man Brand New Day, because as you know, Frank Castle is going to be in there, but we did not see that, but this was, it was like an attraction roller coaster ride. If you watch this little one shot thing, it's like he takes you on this violent rampage rides, and it was pretty cool, man. Check it out. Tell me what you think. I liked it. I thought it was great. It was like 40, I believe it's like 49 minutes or something, but it went by fast because they filmed it really, really well. So I really, I enjoyed it for sure. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Click the like, subscribe if you're not. What are you doing? You should be subscribed to my channel now, where you're going to get all the news and hypes and leaks about, Marvel and DC comics and movies. So subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.